Heyo, you're listening to Toasted Time, where I cook time some Reddit stories. Right now, you're being toasted with some r/am I the a-hole, where OP puts a lien on his brother's house for ransom. Our first story is by Plus Neighborhood. I do house renovations as a business, and even when I do work for family and friends at a discount, I have a contract. My nephews are getting bigger and they want separate rooms. My brother asked me to help him finish his basement and make a couple rooms down there, like add a washroom, add a kitchenette, and wire up a family room. I priced it out and said I would charge him $32,000, including materials. This was a sizable discount, and the bathroom alone I would have charged anyone else $15,000. He wasn't even roughed in. And he never paid me. He always had excuses. I paid for the materials and I paid my guys for the work. We did it when I had downtime, so I didn't lose out on other money, but it still sucked to get shafted. So I put a construction lien on the house. He didn't care, and I wasn't gonna make him homeless. And that was 2 years ago. Now he got a new job and has to move. And to get a new house, he has to sell his current house, which he can't do because there's a lien against the property. And so he called me to get me to remove it. He promised he would pay me as soon as it sold, and I told him, "Fridge you, pay me." My parents called me to tell me that they would pay what he owes, and I said I would agree so long as he paid them back, and if he didn't, then any money he didn't pay back had to come out of any inheritance we were getting. God forbid. And that interest started accruing from the day of the loan. They agreed that that was fair. My brother called me to scream at me for involving our parents and out of my inheritance. And I reminded him that he involved them, not me. And he finally took money out from a line of credit and paid me. With interest. I am a reasonable man. The house sold over asking, and the finished basement suite made a huge difference on what he got. He is still pissed at me for doing it, but I did everything legal and by the books. That was actually pretty smart of OP to bring in the inheritance plot of this because he's gonna be paying either way, which is quite beautiful if you ask me, but in my opinion, you are not the A because this dude was actively stealing from you and was trying to weasel out of it in every kind of way. I mean, and if you took him up on that, paying you after he sold the house, you would never have seen that money. And I mean, you knew that. So, yeah, no, bringing in the inheritance, absolutely smart idea. Now, the only thing is, I don't know why you wouldn't have charged him like, I don't know, 50% up front and then 50% after, because then you're not totally out of a rut on this whole entire operation. But yeah, I mean, you did it legally, so can't say it was necessarily wrong, just how I would have went about it, or something upon that kind of line. Anywho, continuing on. Our next Reddit post is from Important Writing. My parents gave each of my brothers $50,000 when they graduated from university as a down payment on their home. When I graduated, they did not do the same for me. I asked about it and they said my husband should provide. I wasn't married. I still lived at home. 3 years later, I met my husband, and we dated for a year and then we got engaged. My parents were overjoyed, and when we set a date, they gave me a check for $50,000 to pay for the wedding. What the fridge? I then took the check and we eloped. We had used the check for a down payment on a home, and my husband had a similar amount saved up, so we are in a good spot with equity. My parents are furious that they didn't get a big wedding for all their friends and families to attend. And they said that they gave me the money for a wedding. And my argument is that I got married and had leftover money. Accurate in my books. My brothers are on their side, so I am here to ask if I am in the wrong. Am I the A? And to give my opinion, I have to say that this is pretty weird. They gave 50k to your brothers when they graduated and you 50k when you got a wedding. Sexism much? Of course it is, but I mean, so stupid. Like, what? They wanted her to have a husband to provide... Wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on, sorry, I'm just reading the script again. Hold on. When I graduated, they did not do the same for me, and I asked about it, and they said my husband should provide the 50k? Is that what they were saying back then? And then they got married, or then they got a wedding set, and then they gave the 50k in the first place. What? Oh, I just realized how weird this is. Holy crap. Well, I mean, I just realized. I realized a while ago, but like, they noted how the husband should provide the 50k, but then they did it themselves when they set the wedding. That is so weird. And I mean, I just have to make note, in this economy, 50k for a wedding, and they're upset that you spent the 50k on a they're upset that you paid 50k for a down payment on a house rather than 50k for a wedding. Am I the only one who sees the stupidity in that? In this economy, no less. That 50k is gonna do wonders for them. Now, granted, don't know their job, so they might be fine, but like, why? You're gonna pay 50k for a thing that people are going to forget about in 5 years. Like, why? Oh, that's so stupid. Oh my goodness. Is there sexism? There's stupidity. There is stupidity. Oh my goodness. On to the next one. Oh, and yeah, if it was obvious, my opinion is not the A, and it appears that everyone else agrees because the post is set as not the A. So, yeah, I know, the parents are just dumb, in my opinion. They're just really, really, really dumb. Alright, now on to the next one. And the last Reddit post comes from Crow of Paradise. Earlier today, I asked my boyfriend to go with me to run some errands. And when we finished, I was hungry and picked a Mexican restaurant for lunch. It was more of an authentic place which I absolutely loved. But my boyfriend said that nothing looked appealing. He gave me money for my meal and said he was going to go to a place down the street. 10 minutes later, he is back because the place had a really long wait time. I made some suggestions from the menu that he would probably like to try, but he said no. He said he told me last week he was burned out on Mexican food when we went out for dinner with my parents because we always eat it. He didn't order anything that night either, which was really embarrassing to have someone at the table not eating the entire time and trying to explain to my mother and stepdad in a way that didn't sound disrespectful. Service at this place was rather slow, so I wound up taking most of my meal with me. He said to stop along the way to his place so he can get something to eat. And I said no because he knew I had to be home by a certain time for a maintenance person and everything he wanted was in the opposite direction. We got back to my place and he said that he was going to go home because he was starving. And I said he could stay and cook something here, but he said no and that he needed space after I made me starve. And I told him he wouldn't be starving if he hadn't been picky, and he left. He is still mad at me, so am I the A here? To which OP then below that makes a very pertinent note. No, I am not Mexican, but my stepdad is, so I grew up eating it most of my life. My stepdad picks where we choose to eat each week, and he won't go if he doesn't. and they want all of us to go each week, so it's a whole drama. I do cook other kinds of food sometimes. I do eat different food when I go to his home, and when my boyfriend eats with me, including our weekly meal with my parents, it's only 3 to 4 days of eating some kind of Mexican cuisine. I'll start asking him where he'd like to go when I drive. The place he walked to was like 5 minutes away, but he thought he wouldn't have time to wait for takeout since takeout was a 35-minute wait. Usually these sit-down places I go to are pretty quick, like get your food 10 to 15 minutes after ordering, and when we realized the place I chose was slow, he didn't have time to go back or place an online order. I acknowledge that just picking the restaurant on a whim driving by it instead of asking if he wanted to stop for food was wrong of me. I'll pick up something I know he likes and take it to him at work for lunch. My opinion is, yeah, you are the A in this situation. The boyfriend was... He made note that he was burned out on eating Mexican food, and going by how you made note that it is 3 to 4 days of eating Mexican cuisine, I personally too would also get pretty burned out on that every single week, and always going out to what the stepdad chooses because he, in my opinion, he's being a child. You complain about your boyfriend being too picky, but then your stepdad is no different. No different, not even a bit. The stepdad always picks where you guys eat, and if he doesn't, he just won't go. He's a child. What? And then you complain about your boyfriend being too picky about not wanting to eat the same food for another day. Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous in my mind. And then the thing is, you asked him to come out for errands, and then you didn't consider him when you wanted to go and eat food, which was once again another Mexican cuisine place, which, I mean, your choice, but like, what? Ugh. I hate it. Oh, and then the other thing I really hate is that you point out that, he wouldn't have time to wait for the takeout, which this might be wrong. I might be wrong, but I think he was being considerate of the fact that you had to be gone soon because you had a maintenance person that you had to meet. I think he was being considerate there. I might be wrong. He might have just been too lazy to wait, but the way I read it is that he was being considerate about not wanting to wait that long because you had someone to meet. And then he asked to eat somewhere else, like his own place, and you just denied him. Ugh. I mean, I really like the father like husband type thing going on here, or father like boyfriend, you could call it, of where the father is always demanding that you guys go where he goes, and then the boyfriend, which admittedly I'm more keen to go towards him because, I mean, I understand not wanting to eat the same food for 3 to 4 days a week, but he then also says that when you guys went out for a dinner, he just wouldn't eat the food because he didn't want to eat it because he was burned out, and then you took him to another Mexican restaurant another day, like, You knew the outcome that was gonna happen here, because it already happened. This is just, you didn't learn from history. You had history not even like years ago, it was a week ago, probably, I'm suspecting. So you had something to infer upon here on what he was going to do in this situation. Ugh, I don't know. No, I do know. You are the A. Yeah, you are absolutely the A in this whole entire thing. Anywho, what are your opinions on my take on that? Well, that is about it for those stories today. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. But aside from that, of course, I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.